Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this particular video, I'd like to discuss my first impressions and thoughts on Episode 1 of the anime series, Galilei Donna. This was a series that really piqued my interest because of its sort of loose ties, at least, to history in, science. Galileo Galilei was someone very much one of these, sort of pioneers of ideas that was pretty much persecuted for those aspects and those thinkings. And I like how this series basically plays on at least the inventive side of one of these great people who added something to the human experience in history. You have these three characters, three sisters, known as the Ferrari sisters, who are said to be sort of the descendants of Galileo Galilei. And in this episode, we're basically seeing them, all three of them, coming from different areas. You have the eldest, Hazuki, which is trying to become a prosecutor, a litigator, and, she is accosted in a bar where she's semi-drunk, and the middle sister, Kazuki, is, skipping out on a classroom because she doesn't like having to work in a group, I guess, saying she's sick. She's in the infirmary of her school, and she's really sort of starstruck looking at this image of a guy on what may or may not be like an iPhone or something like that, or whatever you would call it in series. And the youngest is Hozuki, who is riding around on a sort of motor scooter, and she has this giant sort of mecha airship coming after her. So she leads it on a merry chase, and what's really interesting from right off is the inventive side, the sort of engineering and machination side of these characters, because she has this scooter that she then presses a couple buttons, and it ramps up the engine so that she's running, miles and miles ahead of time, as far as miles per hour goes, than she was to try to outrun this airship. Of course, it does keep pace with her, and she gets away from it for a little while on foot. But then she creates, either out of this device, which she shrinks down into a smaller device, or perhaps another one that she's carrying in her backpack or what have you, satchel, she creates a weapon that takes down this airship. And meanwhile, you have Kazuki being accosted by someone while she's laying in the infirmary bed. She, knees him in the groin and gets out of there. And then Hazuki, the eldest, her friends in the bar, chases off the guy who comes after her. Now, the police are apparently identified, and the mother and father come in, and they're at odds. This is a family that is very much going their separate ways. Each of the girls seems to be in their own sort of world. They don't really get along. The parents don't get along, but you can see that as far as, the genetics goes, each one of them has a specific talent, whether it's intelligence, engineering capability, inventiveness, and you basically have them all agreeing that they have to get out of the area as soon as they can. And, nobody knows exactly who's after them or why, but as they are packing and getting ready with a couple of police officers coordinated to, follow them and protect them, all of a sudden their house comes under attack by this group of who claim to be Italians, and I don't know what the leader's name is as yet. I don't think he was actually named in this particular episode. He names all of his sort of bodyguard thugs, and they all have different Italian names like Leonardo and stuff like that. But there is something he wants that he claims is called Galileo's inheritance, and none of this family knows what the hell he's talking about. And he holds them hostage with a gun that turns out not to be loaded, but in the moment you don't know that. And he's basically telling them that he wants this, whatever it is, and he's going to shoot them until they, give it up. Now, all this while the main family is being held hostage, the youngest Ferrari sister, Hazuki, is down in the basement fiddling around in a very interesting way. She's got this, security that involves putting in a, numeral code, as well as scanning her eye for a specific eye signature to let her in. And down inside this thing, she's got a little pet fish, and she's apparently very sort of obsessed with goldfish because she has this entire mecha airship designed to look like her pet goldfish. And there's even an AI represented by a sort of 3D floating around hologram of the goldfish that speaks to her, that tells her to fire when she needs to engage the enemy and everything like that. There's an enemy airship, of course, that is basically watching the area. And she manages to take this airship down for all intents and purposes and chase off these guys. And it's just a very interesting series from right off the bat. There were certain things that didn't rub me the right way, like the OP animation seemed a little too cutesy for my taste and didn't really fall in line with the sort of overall feeling I got from the actual episode. And it's a very sort of deep and engaging setup as far as how we're beginning. You know, I feel like I've just started a Final Fantasy game where the world is just very, you know, very realistic and very brought forth in a way that I feel immersed in it. And that's what exactly this episode has done for me. I know that these sisters are probably going to be on the run, and I don't know exactly why these people are after them, what it is that they think they have that relates to Galileo, but they are going to be on the run, and I like the character dynamics so far because they are all distinctive personalities, and we're going to see them probably, you know, have character clashes while they're also trying to deal with whatever this is that's coming after them. So I'm very intrigued with the first episode. Can't wait to check out the second. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this first episode of Galilei Donna, if you've seen it. Otherwise, that'll be it for me. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.